Sylvia, happy Valentine's Day. Sorry it's taken me forever to get this out, but I was sort of stuck for a while. Still kind of like berries, but for today I have had coffee and that seems to be doing the trick so far. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to cut them. They've already been shuffled. Okay. Ah. Okay. What covers you? What sums up your overall situation? We have the Empress. So whether this describes you, of course, as we continue on, we'll fill in a little bit more, but you'll probably know before I figure it out, if I ever do, what this means for you. But basically, this describes somebody who, she's the nurturer. She is the mother of the tarot. Like, she is that classic mother archetype. Somebody who, I mean, of course, there are all kinds of different people who are mothers, but this is a very specific type, and maybe not even actually a mother in life, but the person who is nurturing that takes joy and pleasure from feeding you, making sure that you're warm, giving you a place to stay. Like if you have to crash on her couch, she goes all out for you. She makes sure you have fuzzy socks and warm blankets, and she feeds you in the morning, and not only just out of a sense of obligation or duty, but because that really is what gives her happiness. You can see how much she's smiling. You know, she's taking care of the babies. That gives her joy. And like I said again, this may not be literally caring for children, but providing for people that you care about is how you show, or not, I guess this probably would be describing you then, since I'm speaking in that tense. But so, you know, she may have material gifts to offer, but the pleasure that she gets from the things that she has isn't just having them, it's sharing them. It's taking care of people that she cares about. And yeah, that pretty much is that. So I got caught up in looking at all the little details there I hadn't noticed before. What covers you, or I'm sorry, what crosses you? Something that affects this for better, for worse. I knew you had some reversed cards. So there's a lot, you know, being in that role, you do take on a lot of responsibilities. And maybe you've taken on more than what you thought about how you were going to handle that nurturer aspect of you, that provider, that giver. Without thinking about it, you might have committed to more than you actually have feasible means to accomplish. You might have had like 3 different people ask you for a ride on the same day, and without thinking about it, may have agreed, only to realize you don't really have a way to be in 3 different places at once. So, you know, this would be upright. You know, it's showing like the happy burdens of having, you know, being someplace that we want to be and reached a goal of sorts, but the responsibilities that come along with that. Because it's reversed, there is an obstacle to being able to carry the burdens that we've taken on for ourselves happily and gladly. And again, you know, with the Empress, of course, it's something that was gladly taken on, but you're not really sure how you're going to accomplish everything that you selflessly agreed to, or maybe you just don't have it in you. Maybe you signed up for more than what you considered would take, whether a physical or emotional or mental toll on you. So there's that. At the foundation of this issue, so where this rose up from, we have I have another reverse card. This isn't, I mean, if none of them are ever bad, of course. But you put, this is really telling a story, and it is really sort of beautiful, but so, you know, ego is just upright. This would just be a warning of a possible fixation on your emotional needs. And not that that's a bad thing. We are here to enjoy sensory things as well. We have senses so that we can enjoy material things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because this is reversed, it's the complete opposite. You really haven't been putting a priority on your own material needs. Like, you might have been taking from yourself because, well, I don't need this or I don't need that, to be able to provide for someone else. Let's say you've got money, because really, this has to do with the material things. So say you had some money and a nest egg. Um, and it's okay to enjoy that and to use that and to do something that maybe doesn't have a spiritual purpose or doesn't serve any other, maybe, just have a fancy dinner because you want to, or to buy a nice, soft, expensive blanket, or like 1 billion count Egyptian sheets. And those are all things that you're entitled to, but maybe you felt that you shouldn't. And the reasons for that, only you would know. It could be that you didn't feel you deserved it, or as long as somebody else was in need, then you couldn't justify enjoying any pleasures. You felt like if somebody else needed for their survival or their material needs, then your money would best be served providing for them rather than enjoying for you, if that makes any sense at all. So this is kind of like self-sacrifice, denying of your own pleasure, which is what gave rise to this here. But again, self-love, and I'm sure you know this, but self-care is very important. We can't pour from an empty cup, to repeat the often overused phrase. But it is true, especially being that it's Valentine's Day. One of the most loving things that we can do for everyone is to love ourselves. Because when we are giving from a place of fulfillment, it feels much more nourishing for the people that receive it. And even if you don't get bitter or resentful to the people you're pouring yourself out for, it doesn't have any of that negative attached to it where it's depleting from you. Sometimes people may feel like a martyr, or like it's noble to self-sacrifice in order to provide for others, but that's not healthy either. So you can only love others to the extent that you love yourself. And that's just something to keep in mind. In your recent past, we do have another reversal. So you had an opportunity to start something new, which would be self-loving, which would be to bring you emotional fulfillment. Either you were not able to, or maybe you chose not to. And that might go back to this same reason. Maybe you felt you didn't deserve it, or you couldn't justify doing it because someone else needed, or someone else wanted. But and because this is just joy and love for the sake of joy and love, this isn't for a material outcome or for romance or for learning, or for healing or anything like that. So you may have dismissed it as frivolous or unnecessary, or irresponsible, maybe even. But you had an opportunity to begin a journey that you felt in your heart would lead you to feeling emotionally fulfilled or satisfied or happy. Something that opened up your heart, that touched